Hello everyone, my name is Zishan Hashim and I'm the Director of Research and Development and the Policy Research Institute for South Asia, also known as the PRISA Institute in London. And I would like to welcome you all to our presentation today, which is specifically focusing on South Asian history, South Asia as a region, its past, its present, and what is expected for future. And this is very important presentation for us because as a think tank, we are specifically focusing on South Asian integration, and we are exploring different aspects of South Asia as a region. And the basic objective of this series is to encourage the integration in the region as well. Professor Shafique will be presenting today in this session. He is the Director of Research at PRISA Institute, and he is also a Professor of History at the Bahauddin Zakariya University, Multan, Pakistan. And you can also find his full introduction on our website as well. And Dr. Shafiq, please go ahead and start your presentation, helping us to better understand South Asia as a region and enlighten us. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Zishan, and thank you, PRISA, for providing me an opportunity to have a discussion with and sharing the views on the past, present, and future of South Asia. My basic idea in presenting my views is that South Asia is basically a Western denomination coming out of British Empire. It is the result of decolonization. However, this denomination has been under strong challenges. If we look at the history of the formation or knowledge formation, we will be surprised that a terminological craft of geopolitics have been resulting in the formation of geopolitical identities in terms of regional divisions, especially since the last 200 years. And the South Asia is one of the most recent development in this context. The term has been used by late 1950s, but it has taken on an official view of South Asian countries by the late 1970s, and it took the form of SAARC in 1985. Now, working with South Asia, how it has evolved, we must keep in mind that India and South Asia has been used synonymously in historical context. But in the modern history, these two terms are used in different ways, and to different aspects of the region have been presented in two terms. When we look at South Asia, India, in the past, we will be surprised that the term India is used to be coined as emerging out of word Sindhu, which is in English is called Indus. In Indian mythology, in Hindu mythology, ancient regional mythology, word Sindhu is used in the Vedas. However, what is important that British colonial masters have always been claiming that if Hindu religion is the construct of the British mind, simultaneously the concept of India is the construct of the British mind. We can look into that in the West, word India was introduced by Greeks as Indica, one popular books written by the Greek historians. And Greeks were used to be with a constant wars with the Iranian Sasanian empires. And when the Greeks were overcoming or invading the region, they were basically invading the region of the Persian Empire. And the word Indus or Sind or Hind, they were simultaneously used for each other. So Persia-Greek wars and conquest of India has introduced the word Sindhu or Indo to the Greeks, and the word is transferred to the other European nations. If we look at the historical spatial genealogy of Indian Empire, for example, Maurya and Kushans, we will be surprised that all these even supposed to be universal empires of the region, yet and both empires have been concentrating on the southern part of modern India, northern part of modern India, and southern part has never been the part of this denomination, which is called Sind or Hind or India. Even during the Muslim empires, we can see that the Ghaznavids, Gauris, and even Mughal Empire was mainly concentrating on the northern part of what is now called India. In traditional terminology, this part was called Hindustan. Hindustan by itself seems to be a Persian denomination, and it may have emerged from Hind or Sind, and it is supposed to be the land of waters. And the southern part of this region, which is now called South Asia, has been denominated as Deccan, and southwestern part has been called Gujarat, and the southeastern part has been called Bengal. So this sort of denomination has been very popular among the medieval and ancient historians. These are some maps. If we can look at the Alexander's invasion in India, it is moving from Central Asia and around to the modern day Pakistan. And his last approach may be considered as from nearby Multan to Balochistan, and then by the sea route. So this was the hint for Greeks. Greeks Hind or Ind or Indica was land of water of Indus. In the same way, if we look at the Maurya Empire in 250 BC, we will be surprised that all the concentration of the Maurya Empire is in the northern part of today's South Asia, and Pataliputra was the headquarter of this empire, but it is in many ways in eastern nowadays India, and other was inroads to the southern and western regions. In the same way, Kushan Empire was basically more clearly denominating that Kushan nearby Kashmir, today's Punjab, and Indian Punjab and Pakistani Punjab, and then Afghanistan and some parts of Central Asia. And this was the empire in 2nd century AD, which has been considered as Indian Empire. So important is that in traditional terms, today's northern India and Afghanistan has been considered as India, and even when Western travelers were trying to find India, they were trying to approach this region in one way or other. But how they came up with the southern part of today's India, which is called Deccan, or they are more closely associated with the Southeast Asia. That is important. In the same way, if we had to look at the Ghaznavid Empire, so today's Punjab and then Central Asian, Iranian regions is forming the Ghaznavid Empire. And that is the link between today's modern South Asia and Central Asia and parts of the Middle East. This sort of uh, presentation of, and this is slave dynasty. This is to some parts of Afghanistan and northern India. So my purpose of showing such maps is that we can look at that in traditional terms, the term India was applied to the today's northern India and Pakistan and Afghanistan. And southern part of today's India and Bengal and Maldives, Nepal, such countries were not considered a part of these empires. Even Mughal Empire concentration has been on the northern part of the India. And in the historiography even, the southernmost parts of the modern day India have not been the part of the mainstream historiographic challenge. May it be because of the imperialistic tendencies of the historians, or they have not developed any major empire. My contention is that this was not the case of empires. Rather, southern part of today's India and Bengal were not considered the part of India, and they had separate identities. So now, what is important? That how southern part became the part of today's South Asia or today's India. We can understand that after the fall of Constantinople in 1453, the discovery of new routes to India led to the discovery of the New World. Vasco da Gama, Columbus, and so many other people tried to find out the route to India. And they trying to find out the route to India, they discovered so many new lands of hope and prosperity. So when the Westerners came into the southern part of India, they were confirmed. They were of the view. They believed that they have discovered the India of Greeks. They were in traditional terms. They were supposing that they have they have found a new way to India from the sea route. Prior to the Portuguese, there was no popular discovery of India's sea route other than Turkish, Ottomans, and Arabs and Persians. They were the connected areas to the region, and they had approached to this way. But Europeans were mostly approaching India through the land routes, and fall of Constantinople brought that way. So when the Western powers, Portuguese, Dutch, Welsh, French, interacted with the Indian land, today's South Indian land, which was basically called Deccan, then a new sense of Indians' identity began to emerge, and they called it a continent of India. This continent of India, very soon, within 150 years, was converted into subcontinent, continent to subcontinent, as because the the expansion of the British Empire provided a clue that India is a small region and British Empire is bigger than this Indian continent. So in the initial phase of British conquest, India was considered a continent, and this continent is later called South Asia. And as British Empire expanded and reached to the five continents, they discovered America and Australia, and India became a small part of that empire. Then it was denominated as subcontinent. So now the Mughal Empire and South Indian British Empire in 17th century, 18th century was forming a sense of British continent, Indian continent. And this empire became British, Universal British Empire by the mid of 19th century. So by the mid of 19th century, northern India and southern Deccan and Bengal and Gujarat has become one into the British Empire, but this British Empire was not in any way universally administered. It was consist of so many independent subordinate states, and this form of identity was providing a sense that India is, although a British Empire, but it is a continent or it is a subcontinent, consists of um, so many states, so many cultures, so many nations. For example, if I can mention the one popular British administrator, Mount Stuart Elphinstone, who wrote a first history of India, complete history of India, in the sense of regional identities. He was of the opinion that India is a subcontinent, consists of 13 nations, uh, excluding Punjab. At that time, for British, the British India was up to the river Satluj, and today's Pakistan was not the part of British Empire in 1843. So as British expanded their territories, Punjab became the part of British India, and Sindh became the part of British India. Balochistan became the part of India, and parts of the Durrani Empire that was not called Afghanistan. The Durrani part of Durrani Empire became the part of British India, and all this region was known as British India. So this from this concept of India basically presenting British Empire from eastern Bengal and Burma to Afghanistan, modern concept of South Asia is emerging. Why India was converted into or presented as South Asia is a major question. If liquidation of the British Empire was done on the model of Africa or Central or Middle East, then there should have not been any need to coin a new term as South Asia. If there were so many states with regional names, as at the time of 1947, we can look at that India has such a huge country with different nations and different states, all under the umbrella of the British, and this was the British Empire.
Sir,
And
sorry, the last slide, can you please expand it a bit?
yes,
Because
this one.
it's not clear. The last one. Yeah, this one. Can you please
Yes,
make it bigger?
this is the time when Mughal Empire was in the decline, and state was basically divided into different territories and different states. Those states will already exist, but they were under the umbrella of the British, under the umbrella of the Mughals. But by the fall of the Mughals, they began to come under the umbrella of the British. And by 1947, other than the British territories mentioned in this map, next map, the whites are the regions which were basically Indian states. So British India was basically consist of some parts directly administered by British and some independent states which were internally independent but under the suzerainty of the and hegemony of the British. So at the time of 1947, almost 563 states were under the umbrella of British in what is called British India. So when the British decided to liquidate the empire, they not liquidated in terms of the hereditary. They did not transfer the power to the states which they had conquered or the states which were under their umbrella, but they created a new sort of hereditary successors, and that was named as India. So what was the problem with that when they had liquidated the empire, there were some new states. All states, 563 states, 62 states were finished or merged into new hegemonic empire, and that was called India. And some became the part of Pakistan, and some became the part of Bangladesh. So three states were basically successors of the British India. India, Bangladesh, and Pakistan. Now, problem is that if India was a separate state, then Pakistan was given a new name, and what should be the name of the new region? And this new region is supposed to be um, denominated as by the colonial British by late 1950s as South Asia. South Asia as term, if we can look at the map of Asia, and then Asia is a huge territory, and fixing the one point of South Asia is very difficult. Yet, as all terms of political, there and the political mapping has been mainly done by the British during the current decolonization. Therefore, the term introduced by the British by 1950s, by late 1950s and 1960s, became popular in this sense. And now this term is being used as a term which is connecting India and other British Empire allies or regions into one. This term basically is the what I may say, and the successor of British India. However, if we can look at the history of the empires, then we can see that we can see that this region has not been connected to any one regions. Demographically, we can look at that southernmost parts are very well connected with the Southeast Asia. Southern bounds are basically covered by the Indian Ocean, and therefore only trade through the sea route is possible. And British Empire was basically established from the sea route and from the south side. But the real connection of the this South Asian region, which is successor of the British Empire, is connecting with the China and Central Asia and Middle East. So, what is the problem with that? When we are talking about the colonial legacy of the British India, we have to either connect with the sea routes or we have to connect with the land routes with the Central Asia and Middle East. China is very hard-bound borders, and the trade or connectivity from those borders is difficult. On the other hand, when we are talking about the developing of connectivity, so South Asian dynamics had been subject to the issues between Bangladesh and India and Pakistan and India, and therefore the connectivity with the Central Asia and Middle East has been under question since long. South Asia as a term, although was coined in 1950s, late 1950s, yet it became the official slogan by 1977 when Bangladesh President Ziaur Rahman provided a vision that South Asian countries consisting of the countries under the British Empire may develop regional connectivity and work for the regional cooperation, economic cooperation, and cultural harmony. So, in that sense, 7 countries were generally initially made the part of this plan, which was functionalized by 1985 SAARC Regional Summit, which was held in Dhaka, and Afghanistan was also included in those countries. Until now, if we look at the issue of the South Asian connectivity, one major source or initiative has been SAARC. And 19 SAARC summit has been held from 1985 to 2016. They had produced, no doubt, so many results, positive results. When I was a student, my roommate was a SAARC scholarship holder, and this exchange has no doubt created a new venue to interact between the interaction of the masses. So they have developed regional cooperation, so many trade treaties, cultural exchanges, people-to-people contact, peace and security issues, culture and education exchange has been discussed and even applied. There were exchange of masses, exchange of delegations of from different walks of life. It has generated, no doubt, a positive activity until 2016. But the issues of terrorism and Kashmir has basically created big challenge. Now, if we can look at the challenges and problems in regional connectivity and image of South Asia as a region, we can look at one major issue in terms of India's struggle to become a big power. As we know it well, that India is a huge country. He was the successor of the British Empire, claiming to be a nation. And in this nationhood, one major claim is that other states are the part of this major big nation, and this is the one major problem working between the different states of South Asia. All the small countries, they are always under threat of political pressure, as well as pressure on the borders and trade pressures from this vision of becoming a big power. This vision of big power is further um, aggravated by the India-Pakistan tension on Kashmir, and it has blocked the way of regional connectivity with Middle East and Central Asia, as both countries are not ready to work together. Then how they can extend their privileges to connect with the other countries? Afghan problem has diversified this issue, and this connectivity with Afghanistan, Iran, and Central Asia are again major problems of taking South Asia as a connective region and making it viable to economic cooperation. Now, this disconnectivity can be resolved by one major initiative can be taken by India. If India is ready to consider that any sort of resolution of conflicts can lead to the development of regional cooperation and connectivity, and this connectivity will link India with Central Asia and Middle East, then this initiative can make a major what I may say to major sort of I'm very can create a major sort of event of regional connectivity. This connectivity can be enhanced, but by the solution of the problem with the small states, with the ASEAN, Shanghai Cooperation Organization, ACO, Central Asian Union, GRAC, Central Asian Union, and GCC, Gulf states, Gulf countries, Arab League, and such other regional, what I may say, organizations. So this connectivity can make a new sort of map of South Asia. This is traditional SARC map of 1985, when Afghanistan was included, and in 2014 United Nations program, Iran was included as the part of administrative unit of South Asian United Nations Development Project. But regional blocks connectivity without the connectivity with the regional blocks of India, SARC countries, and Iran and Central Asia. Any option of making South Asia a vibrant, peaceful, and mutually connected, having a good relations, people-to-people relations and connections, I think is not possible. If we have to think about South Asia, South Asia's regional definition must extend from the Pakistan and Afghanistan to Iran and Central Asia, and this sort of connectivity can make South Asia a viable region, having mutual dependence in trade, agriculture, and even culture, and it had this sort of relationship. For example, during the Sultanate period, the empire was mainly connected with the Central Asia, and even during the Mughal period, the empire was closely connected with the sister empires in Central Asia. But after the fall of the Mughal Empire, the connectivity shifted from Central Asia and Middle East to the sea routes operated from Calcutta, Madras, Bombay, Surat, Calicut, and such other places. And the center of gravity shifted from the region of today's Pakistan to Bengal and Madras and Bombay. And by the time Bombay emerged as the what I may say the cosmopolitan of the British Empire. So this shift from northern Indus regions connectivity between India and Central Asia and Middle East to southern part of today's India through the sea route has basically disconnected the balance of regional connectivity and, and the borders of the region have been a bit inappropriate or unproductive in terms of relations. If we have to make it again productive, we have to connect this region again with Central Asia and Middle East. Thank you very much. Uh, I hope that this historical connection uh, shall help us to understand what can be more viable in the future. So thank you very much. Over to Rishan.
Thank you, Dr. Shafique. And it was really great presentation, especially in the historical perspective. And dear friends and fellows of PRISA, please, if you have any question, raise your hand or write in the chat box. And before your questions and raising hand, I'm going to ask like two questions to make the presentation of Dr. Shafiq more broad and clear as well. So one question I have that Dr. Shafiq, your South Asian history is majorly based, when you explain, it was majorly based on Pakistan, India, and Bangladesh. So historical perspective of these three countries you're explaining more. But you didn't talk about mean like the other countries in the region historically, like Nepal, like Bhutan, like Maldives, like Sri Lanka. So what was their position in means pre-colonial era or means and during colonial era, whether they were part of the India or if they were not part of the India, what was their identity as a region? Thank you.
Yeah, it is wonderful question. And basically, for example, Maldives has been the part of the British expansion. Sri Lanka has been the part of the British expansion, and they were the part of the British Empire. Even parts of the Gulf were administered from the Bombay Presidency. I mean, so in that sense, on the other hand, as I have already mentioned, that there were so many states in the subordinate states of the British Empire. In the same way, Nepal and Bhutan too have been under the struggle of being independent or the British under the British sovereignty. There have been some checks on those empire on states, but they have not been any under any subjugation, permanent subjugation, and that is why they were not considered as the part of the British Empire, but they were the beneficiaries of the British Empire, and they had good connections. Therefore, they were made the part of the South Asian concept.
Okay, and perfect. So another question that's also related to, and you mentioned it, and it was very interesting for me. Like, means the British rail system, like if we talk about it, it connected all India, right? Means, can you please explain more about it, whether it was connecting other countries in the South Asia as well, like Nepal, like Bhutan, Sri Lanka. So this means rail system had the connectivity to other countries in South Asia.
No, no. This was basically connecting the British Empire, and Bhutan and Nepal was not the part of this connectivity. However, it was extended from modern day Balochistan to Iran and Turkey and even to Europe. So the connectivity with Europe was basically available, but not to this far-flung areas and difficult areas of Bhutan and Nepal.
So the land route was the major source of connectivity between these countries.
Yeah, even buses were used to be going from 2 days Pakistan to Europe.
Okay, yeah. I'm familiar with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, any other question from anyone? So Umar has one question, and it's like, can you please read the question and answer it?
Where is this question?
Yeah, it's Edward said in his
Yeah, chat.
Magnum, yeah, Orientalism suggests that it was part of the imperial design to club a huge land mass together under the title Oriental. Do you think the same orientation was at play when the British ex-colonial master called this region South Asia in the 1950s?
Yeah. In one way, we can look at that when Western were called Orient, they were not included in it the regions of the new discoveries. They were not including America or Australia into this understanding. However, no doubt, after the decolonization, when there was on the one way Commonwealth, British Empire, Commonwealth, that was a huge representation of British Empire. In the same way, at the regional level, they had coined a term of South Asia, which was no doubt an extension of, although decolonization, but with an intentions of colonial superiority.
Okay, and I'm waiting for, okay, Umar. Give the love sign. Okay. Any other question? And before any question come, I have a question that's related to the ethnicity. So in the South Asia, I mean, for example, Pakistan is facing identity crisis, and quite recently, Bangladesh is also facing, and for the whole history, I read a paper and it was well explained as well related to the identity issue. Bangladesh is also facing the identity crisis, which is, and the identity is a major determinant to make a state, whether religious, Islamist or Hindu state or like a secular state. And India is also facing like such issue, like nowadays with the religious identity is rising, and that's also challenging the secular state of the India as well. Do you think, that's my main question. So do you think South Asia can provide identity to the South Asians living in the country, in their nations, and that identity can help, these countries to go for better political and economic system?
Uh, my idea is that when we are talking about this such type of huge identities, they are not owned by the masses. Masses mostly have regional identities, and such huge identities are the part of the imperial projects. So, if we are going to develop a new sort of huge identity, such as South Asia as a nation or as a one cultural uniform identity, then it is too much difficult and it cannot resolve problems. The problem lies with that what is the problem either for Pakistan or Bangladesh? The problem is that when there is an attempt to create a new sort of identity, breaking uh, uh, breaking the relations with the past and relation with the communities. So that is the crisis of identity, that people are not trying to connect, or they are being blocked to connect with the communities and the regions. I may not have a connection with the Central Indian communities, but I definitely may have relations with the Punjab and Rajasthan and Gujarat, with the areas which are connected to the region of Pakistan. So when we are talking about, and the same is the case with South Asia. If Pakistan has not connection with Central Asia and Middle East, then regional connectivity has no value for Pakistan. Only with India is not viable, and only with Afghanistan is not viable. Only with Iran is not viable. So problem is that we have to connect with the masses, and if there is any sort of blockage and on any side, then this connectivity cannot develop. Problem of identity is basically connected with the blocking of communities to interact with each other, breaking the lines from the past, and this sort of problem is creating the identity problems, and this is creating the cultural and religious problem. If such problems are resolved and people are given opportunities to interact with each other, then they must find regional identities, and they will own it, and they will interact with those identities, and they will appreciate to interact with such identities. So any huge identities having a mess of masses, I mean to say that when there are conflicts of cultural understanding and such other problems, then rather than trying to understand each other, they are going to conflict. This connectivity must be developed, but through the regional connectivity, through the interaction of the masses and communities. In supernatural way, in imperial way, or idealizing a huge empire converted into a region cannot make any sense of solution of problems. I do believe.
Okay, great, thanks. Yeah, Huri has a question. Yeah, Huri, go ahead, please.
Hello, thank you for your presentation. It was really insightful. I learned a lot. I just, as you might know, I'm focusing on the identity and how to bring the community together. So I was thinking, since the 16th till 18th centuries, Mughals came into all these South Asian countries and Iran, but I know we suffered a lot, but they had two common good positive effect as well, which it was they brought in the art and they gave the unity to us. Do you think still it has its effects that we can use the art, the music to unite them together? Or was there any other issue that we are not aware of or is not spoken as much that affected the culture of the people who are living there, and we can use it to bring them to create the same language for all of them?
Yeah, it is important question. Uh, there are two, three major things. First, when we are talking about regional connectivity and making people harmonize into culturally viable way, uh, again, I will say that connecting a huge people and huge region is very difficult. No doubt, music and art are the universal ways which can be understood throughout the world in one way or other. It can it can make a sense of interaction of the people with the communities. If this sense of interaction of the people with the communities can be developed through the art and music, I can think it can be a beginning. But the problem lies with the political policies. Political policies are mainly in almost all countries are mainly imperialistic. The ideal is still British Empire, and every state wants to become an empire, and this idea is ultimately leading to the conquest of subjugation of subordination of the region connected with them. So beginning can be art and music and exchange of ideas and exchange of mass-to-mass contact, and this can lead to the development of a regional community. Today, if we look at today's media through the internet, now all over the world, we can connect with anyone and which is interested in. There have been developed communities of interest, but conflicts are mostly at regional level, not of what I may say at global level. Global level, all global level conflicts are political conflicts, not cultural, not identity crisis. So problem lies with those global conflicts of empire, of power, of subjugation, of hegemony, and if such concepts can be taken into the mass contact, and masses are allowed to work beyond these concepts of mutual relations and harmony and peace and love and such other activities, then I think a viable community can be developed by the time.
Thank you very much. I just needed an approval that art can be the ice breaking of this communication if we have a collaboration with the policymakers as well. Thank you.
Thank you. My friend Rai Sindhu was.
Yeah, means Raj will give. Yeah, Raj will give. Raj, if you have any question, but your concluding remarks would be at the end.
Thank you, Professor Shafique, for your lecture. It was wonderful. You highlighted many areas which are very important for us. I'm Dr. Raj. I'm Assistant Professor of Law in University of Jammu. My primary area is law, but I have interest in history, economics, geography, and strategic issues also. So I'm a very keen observer of South Asia. So my observation are I would like to add few points to our discussion. That before Britishers they came to India, we were having around 25 to 30% of global GDP. So it was highly developed and trading area. When we talk about South Asia, it includes Pakistan, India, Bangladesh, and other areas also. So we were highly developed. And now, if we see that although we have around 25% of the world population, but our living standard and there is a huge rampant poverty. I guess more than 50% of world poor people they live in this area, this part of the world. And we still have a lot of opportunities. We have youngest population in the world, which is a huge labor market available to us. We have a huge population, so a lot of market is also available. There are a lot of opportunities for growth, but the problem you highlighted many various issues, conflicts, and issues of regional integration. In my view, the biggest problem is the distrust that in our region, the one government is not trusting on another government. Although people-to-people connection is very good, we have same language, same culture, same jokes, same eating habits, and even same marriage ceremonies. But the problem is a problem of distrust.
Also,
And
diabetes as well, same diseases.
yeah, same. So My view is that when we talk about India, the nation state, the idea came from the Treaty of Westphalia, which is in 17th century. So prior to that, the name which was used for this area was Bharat. We have a ancient Hindu text in which Bharat word is used, but it is more not for a country, more for a civilization. So we have a common civilization. We can name it as Indian civilization or any other name, but we have a lot of commonalities. As far as role of China is concerned, together with China, we were having more than 50% of the world GDP, and that time is reversing. Now the global power center is shifting towards east, and India and China they're going to be the big players in coming years. And as far as Indian economy is concerned, I just want to share data with you that what will happen in next 25 years. At present, our GDP is around 4 trillion. So we are growing at approximately 7% growth rate. And if we add 5% inflation, so nominal growth will be around 12%. Rule of 72 says that if we divide the rate of growth with the 72, we'll get the number of years in which GDP will double. So it means that within 6 years, our GDP is going to double. So from 4 trillion by 2030, it will be 8 trillion. And by 2036, it will be 16 trillion. By 2042, it will be 32 trillion. And by 2048, it will be more than 60 trillion. So from here, we are on a stage that we'll have a rapid growth, and will be third largest economy within the next couple of years. And by 2045 to 2050, we'll be able to cross USA also. And by 2070, 28, we'll be able to cross China also. So I'm saying that that a lot of effort is done by India, and now the stage is set for a rapid expansion. So when we talk about India, we should not look at a $4 trillion economy. We should be looking at economy which will be around 60 trillion in next 24 years only, which is not that big for a country. And moreover, our current per capita GDP is 2,800 rupees, but within next 5 years, we will be able to cross 5,000. So in next 10 years, it will be more than 10,000 USD per person. So although it is less than the European levels, but still, because in PPP terms, we are that inflation is less, goods are cheaper in India. So it is a very meaningful contribution. Moreover, regarding we whenever we talk about that whatever India is going to do, it will have impact on our neighboring countries. So that the entire region should work together. They should develop together because our destinies are intertwined. We cannot change our neighbors. We cannot change our destiny. So our destiny is intertwined. We should work together for our growth. And if we go back to 1947, the entire region was one country, and they were having rail and road links. Now, but after the Britishers they left India, we created our own barriers. So, so I'm saying my point is that if we want to move forward and to have people-centric governance or governments, so we should not focus on conflict resolution as a precondition for other efforts which we can do. So conflict can stay, and same at the same time we can have other things also. We can take example of China. The type of disputes which we have with our eastern neighbor, western neighbor, similar disputes we have with China. But India-China trade is around more than $100 billion. China is the largest trading partner of India. So both countries are trading a lot. At the same time, dispute is there, but they are not making this growth hostage to the dispute. So, in my view, that we should work together and focus on working for the people who are in the bottom of the pyramid. Because whenever we are not trading, we are not buying something cheap from our neighbor and buying from someone else. Ultimately, this if it impacts more to the people who are at the bottom of the pyramid. So these are my observations. If there is any question, you can ask me. But I am not representing Government of India. It's my personal views. So if you want to ask anything about India or J&K, I'm happy to answer it. Thank you, Jishan. Over to you.
I do agree with you. No doubt, India is a major contributor, and this was my point. That being a major contributor, he has to come forward to resolve the problems, and he had to provide opportunities, and he had to provide initiatives. So, as a big contributor, he has to take the lead. Small countries are no doubt always in a state of trouble, in a state of fear, and this fear is always leading to some sort of conflict. So this is the way. If India is a major country, India is developing, but if India thinks that other countries should merge into or they should be subordinate, this will be a challenge, and this challenge can be no doubt. Every community had responded it, and they are developing their own ways. No doubt, I do believe that India has to take initiative to resolve the problems.
So just to add to it, I can assure you about it that we don't have any plans to merge any country with us. We are not able to manage our own area properly, so so we don't have any problem. But my concern is that that there was a huge constituency in India which always talk about peace with Pakistan, but after this Mumbai attack, there is no constituency in India which is able to raise voice to have a dialogue with Pakistan. So at present, virtually, there is no space in India.
I think Raj internet is disconnected. So yeah. So there is one question from Muhammad Nadeem server. You wanted to ask one question.
Can you listen to me?
Yeah, we can. Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Shafique, for your wonderful presentation. And always, it's very nice to interact with you. My question actually follows up the question that Huri asked earlier. She talked about the music and other such cultural things. How do you think that the sports can play some role in connecting the South Asian countries, especially India and Pakistan? You know, like the cricket is being followed hugely at both sides of the borders, and these days the cricketers, whether the Kohli from India or Babar from Pakistan, they got huge fan following from both the countries. Similarly, the kabaddi players, they are being liked in both Punjab sides. So yes, you rightly pointed out that there is a problem within the governments, but how if there is made some effort to build this relationship at people to people level first, and not the whole South Asian region, but for the two countries that have the largest issues. How do you think that could work or not?
Yes, no doubt. Every step leading to the mass-to-mass connection is important for this purpose. Every step. And no doubt, today's sports are the major source of this interaction. That is what I was talking about, and Raj has pointed out to the attacks in Bombay. Is it not the case with Pakistan? Pakistan has faced so many terror attacks. This is proxy war, which both countries are waging on each other. The problem is that whether both countries have decided to continue this war. I again will ask that India is a major contributor. He has to take initiative. Sport, if blocking of the sports and cricket diplomacy can lead to any solution, it should continue. But we should know that cricket diplomacy has resolved so many times the threats of war and other problems. So you are right that cricket diplomacy concerns art exhibitions, exchange of such performances. They can resolve the tension. But this sort of interaction is always being blocked by the political motives of hegemony. Again, I will say these are the political motives of hegemony. A small number of a minimum level of attacks we can see even the most developed states, and if those be blamed for the state-to-state relations, then no country may have relation with the other country. It should not be, but it should not be from the all quarters. If one quarter is being blamed and tackled by power, this is the power that we don't want to have a relation with you. If it is a state policy, then any attempt will lead to nothing. And the blockage of the
Sorry
relation.
for interruption. I lost my connection in between. I'm joined back. Please, sir, continue.
Yes. So I do believe that any sort of interaction, any sort of activity to generate interaction, no doubt will lead to the solution of the regional mitigation of the challenges and solution of the problems. This is the way. No doubt, this is the one way.
Okay, great. So we have like it was 1 hour session, so we are like 5 minutes ahead. So just at the end, I would like Khayyam Saab to give his opinion and then conclude the session as well and say thanks to everyone, and then we will officially finish the session.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much, all of you. It has been, and especially Dr. Shafique, for a very insightful presentation on the evolution of what is today called the region of South Asia or the subcontinent. You very well knit the historical perspectives and has given us how the things have moved along over the centuries, as almost all countries of this region, they share a similar past, and many of us have shared the colonialism also, which was positive as well as negative in different areas for us. And I do think it is indeed in a region which has a great potential, as Mr. Raj Sandhu Saab, he mentioned that at one time it was the richest region of the world. The region has the potential, and it continues to look forward to tap the potential and really exploit the potential. Definitely, the political tensions and political problems between different countries, particularly India and Pakistan, has not allowed us to move with a momentum, with required momentum for having a South Asia which is interconnected, integrated economically or socially, as well as to an extent one could even think of on some politically also. It will be a long haul. It will be a long process if South Asian people keep on looking for having some sort of an integrated and interconnected South Asia. No doubt, India is prospering very fast and definitely is giving an example for other countries in the region how to move ahead economically also. But at the same time, we all must ensure that all of us all of us try to look forward. There have been lots of things in the past. There are things continue even today. And more, I mean, all of us have to blame in one way or the other. Some with more responsibility, some with the less responsibility. But if the aim is to integrate the South Asian region, then one would have to really sit together, talk together, interact together, work together, and bring each other closer to one another. The region from north in Afghanistan to the south, from west to the east, has seen so much of turmoil, violence, and turbulence that it is time that we start thinking towards moving towards a more integrated South Asia. But well, that is the aim of PRISA also, to learn, to research, to study how we can contribute towards this particular goal. And in this regard, definitely today's presentation of Dr. Shafique was really worth noting, worth remembering, and it added to our knowledge in a great way. On behalf of PRISA, I thank you all for this particular webinar, and it was indeed a wonderful evening. And my best wishes to all of you, and we hope to meet again pretty soon. And Zishan Saab will definitely organize something wonderful in the coming days, and we hope to learn and to learn better on the issues which we have under the umbrella of PRISA. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone, and that's it.